Hi guys, we're going to do the live section obviously here on the top table, and then we're going to go into dressing room 4 for the print huddle bit, and then we'll do the Sundays after that. Yes, of course. Before we do get underway with the questions though, Marc Canham, our Director of Football, will have an opening statement in regards to today's press conference.
Good afternoon everyone, hope you're well. Thanks for being here. Just a few short comments from me. So we're delighted today to have John O'Shea here with us and has agreed to come on board as the interim head coach, which is brilliant for our senior men's team. John has excellent experience, which you'll all know, across domestic and international football as a player and also as a coach, and both at senior level and under 20 level. So we're privileged and honoured for John to take on this role in interim capacity for 2 games. John obviously knows this group of players really well and believe that we have the right coaching team in place to take us forward over the March fixtures. We were also pleased to announce the other day further appointments on Friday that complete the full coaching team for the March friendlies. Paddy McCarthy and Glenn Whelan as assistant coaches, who will offer John great support and expertise. And also, as you know, we announced that Brian Kerr will join us as a technical advisor, will bring a wealth of knowledge to John and his support around the game and experience that John will surely tap into for those games. Paddy, Glenn and Brian, along with the rest of the coaching team, will be a great support for those 2 matches. The process of the appointment of the permanent new head coach is very close to the end and nearing its end point, and we look forward to announcing that new permanent head coach in early April. Existing contractual obligations mean that we're not in a position to announce any further details on this point, but as we've committed to, we will announce that in early April. So I'd just like to thank John and his team for taking up the role on the interim head coach and wish him the very best of luck for the 2 games, and look forward to your questions today.
Okay, we'll get on underway with the questions. If you want to ask a question, please raise your hand. This is the live section of the press conference. Tony, would you like to get us underway?
Sure. Well, first of all, John, Marc's statement there, does that mean that there's no chance of you becoming manager even if you win these 2 games handsomely against Belgium and Switzerland?
Look, my focus, Tony, is on these 2 games, Belgium and Switzerland. What an amazing honour to get a chance to manage my country. Obviously, when I got the message from Marc a few days ago, about a week ago, give or take, wasn't it?
Yeah, just over a week ago.
Yeah, just over a week ago. And look, an amazing feeling. Very proud, obviously, because you get the chance to being involved as an assistant coach, obviously with club level, and then obviously helping out from the 21s and being involved with the senior team, and then having the chance to build a team, a coaching staff quite quickly, and prepare for 2 high-profile friendly games in the Aviva, but with hopefully a big support behind us. It's an amazing feeling, and one I can't wait for it to come round, really.
But if you win the 2 games, will you put your hand up and say, I want that gig?
Let's hope that takes care of itself. But ultimately for me, I'm focused on these 2 games, and then we'll see what happens then.
Gavin?
Firstly, Marc, can we just clarify what you mean there by contractual positions? Does that mean that basically you've got your guy and they just because they're in a job, or otherwise that person can't be announced until April?
So, as I've said before, the process has been ongoing for a period of time and been given a series of updates, quite recently actually. But we're really near the end of the process. That's obviously confidential, so I can't answer your question directly, unfortunately. But we're at a really advanced stage of the process, and for different practical reasons, and including contracts, we can't confirm that until early April.
And John, congratulations first of all.
Thank you.
Have you had any conversations about, if you're not permanent, if you don't get the job permanently as head coach, might you remain involved in the coaching staff? Have you had those conversations?
Look, that's something obviously for further down the line, but at the minute, obviously, I've been given the chance to lead the team for the 2 games against Belgium and Switzerland. Going forward, who knows? It's obviously spoken to Marc about this before in terms of when management changes or things happen, everyone has their own ideas, head coaches have their own ideas, etc. And as always, I would always be up for a conversation, but that's for stuff for for further down the line. As I say, I'm fully focused now. A couple of weeks away with 2 amazing games to be looking forward to, and hopefully, obviously getting involved, getting over the next 2 weeks, getting out to the games, speaking to all the lads, hopefully involved in the squad, and keeping my fingers crossed that everyone will stay fit as well.
Yeah, and just lastly from me on ideas, what kind of ideas are you going to try to impart to the players across these 2 games?
It'll be a very in terms of my personality, in terms of the camp that it's going to be. Very relaxed, very enjoyable, but also a drive to win games and perform. And hopefully, I know the lads will enjoy the training sessions, the detail that the coaches and analysts will go into for them, hopefully as well over the 10 days, and obviously getting a couple of wins.
Stephen Doyle, please.
Can I just ask Marc first, how many times have you changed candidates with regards to who's coming at the job?
I know this may frustrate the room, but we're just not going to talk about any candidates or even numbers of people, just because, one, we need to make sure that we respect the process and we've made sure that it's confidential, but 2, we need to make sure that we give as much respect possible to the candidates that have been in the process and remain in the process. So just can't comment on numbers at any stage, unfortunately.
There's been a lot of talk of style of football, bringing young players through, all that kind of thing. Have you, or will you impart the, I suppose, highlight the fact that qualification for a major championship is crucial, because the FA needs money, and also with Euro 2028 games being played here in Dublin?
Yeah, a couple of things to that, just to kind of start with. It's just that I understand you said about style of play, and I've seen some stuff that has been written. I think, to be really clear on that, the head coach is coming in and their job is to get the best out of the team, maximise the performance of the players, and ultimately win games. And that's absolutely clear. And they're coming in to do that job, be on the training pitch, and get the best performance from the team. We have a set criteria that we're looking for a head coach to come in and add value to, but absolutely they have ownership and autonomy for doing that. And that's really, really clear. There has to be a clear kind of division of responsibilities, and the head coach is absolutely responsible for that, and we're clear on that. But we're looking at coaches that come into our thinking and they add value to that, enhance that. So that's the first thing to say to that. We want to have some really good friendlies, and John has the great honour to take on the next 2 friendlies and set the team and get good performance.
You told me I had to play 4-4-2, Marc.
Yeah, exactly. Long ball from right back to the centre forward, flick-ons. And then we've obviously got 2 games in June as well, which we're looking forward to. Great preparation, good, tough opposition. But that's what we need to take up our rankings, because rankings are really important when it comes to qualification campaigns, because we need to have good seedings to get best possible opportunities to qualify. We want to have a really positive UEFA Nations League. We want to be competitive in that and make as much progress as possible. And we want to have a really competitive World Cup qualification. We know that's challenging, although the World Cup has expanded in terms of more teams. We know that UEFA places still remains the same, so we know that's the challenge. But we want to be really competitive in that. And ultimately, which may seem a bit long term, we absolutely want to be in Euro 28. And that is absolutely clear for the head coach. And then we're working towards that and building that progress. We want results quickly, but we know that there's a process to go through to achieve that. And the head coach that will come in will be clear on that.
And John, just regards to a lot of talk about managers needing experience going into jobs, but we've seen over the years a lot of managers going into jobs with very little experience. Xabi Alonso is a great example, Mikel Arteta. If you did well in these couple of games, if you're offered the job permanently, and that's a big if, do you think you have the capabilities to take the job on a full-time basis?
Yeah, look, in my head, obviously I've been preparing for, say, an opportunity like this for a long time. Obviously, it's 2 games, but in my head, I've been preparing since late 20s, 30, that I'm going to get into the coaching side of things, management side of things. So it's been in the thought process for a while. So yeah, I would feel I'm ready, but ultimately, I'm fully focused on these 2 games, getting the squad together, and preparing everyone for that. And what happens after that, we'll see.
Just a quick one, Brian Kerr. You're obviously quick to get him into the fold. There's been a huge outpouring of, I suppose, support for that move. A lot of people felt that he was treated unfairly by the last regime. Is that something you feel as well, that it was important to get him back in because of the way he's been treated? Look,
obviously this is going back a long time, the relationship obviously I have with Brian, and it was a collaborative approach with myself and Marc. Obviously when Marc I spoke to Marc, and obviously we were bouncing ideas off about staff, different things, procedures, and names were coming up. And obviously when I heard Brian's name, I was like, yes, that sounds right to me, because I know, having spoken to him, obviously his enthusiasm, and not only that, his knowledge will be invaluable to not only the coaching staff but to the players as well. And obviously he's been in constant contact as well quite recently too, so it's I can't wait to, obviously, for the players to kind of get to know his knowledge too, and to see what he's all about in terms of preparation for a game, and obviously just how the reaction he gets from people too, you know. So I know he'll be a big boost for everyone involved.
I'll fetch a ball there, pushes them.
Oh, he'll be fit by the end of the week.
Ed Leahy, please.
Marc, just to start with yourself, you put in 4 big names there with John, Ken Whelan and Brian Kerr and Paddy McCarthy. Would it be your hope that all 4 would remain part of the future of Irish football in the short and medium term?
I think the short answer to that is we want those people to remain on the progression and development that they were already on. They're massive careers in the game as players, and they're starting to build good careers for coaches as well. So we absolutely want them to continue on that pathway and that development. Whether they'll be in the setup for the men's national team moving forwards, I wouldn't want to make any guarantees to anyone at this point. As John's already said, that will depend on the conversations that we've had with the new head coach. A good example, John, we're talking about Brian, is that collaborative approach in terms of building that team. So I think it will depend on who that is moving forwards. But in terms of the broader answer to that question is we want those people to keep developing, to be being a coach at the top level of the game, and ultimately develop like a world-class Irish coaching talent pool that sets us up for success in the short and long term.
And John, I suppose a lot of the players, most of the players, would have still a new permanent manager or head coach would be in place by now. Do you think are you concerned there might be an element of anti-climax coming into the camp, or is it a case that your presence may just give that continuity that will help with the overall eventual transition to?
Look, I hope that they just have the enthusiasm that they always have coming into the Irish camps, because I know how much the players, when they do turn up and when they arrive in Dublin, that they show the enthusiasm that they always have, really, to be honest. And I know I can't wait, obviously, over the next, because I purposely didn't speak to any of the lads that are going to be in the squad, or potentially in the squad, until I kind of got this press conference out of the way, in a sense, because I just wanted to fully focus on that, and then obviously just relax in terms of when I do speak to the boys, that I'm going to just stress to them how important the 2 games will be for them going forward as well, because obviously who might be watching the games, who might be involved going forward, wants to see players performing and wants to see who wants to get Ireland back to qualifying for tournaments. And I think if they come into the camp, they'll know they'll have a very good 10 days, and hopefully 2 good results to back it up.
Just regarding your own management impressions in your playing days, come up from such a strong dressing room as Manchester United, were you able to get your own voice in that dressing room, where you develop your voice later in your career, or I suppose ultimately with the international team where you commanded a immediate respect coming out of Manchester United there? So.
Yeah, look, I was at Manchester United for 13 years, in the first team dressing room for 9 years, so my voice must have got somewhere, and it was always a case of, I didn't feel just because I was going from Manchester United to the Republic of Ireland my voice was going to be heard more over here. It was never a case like that. It was just an incredible honour every time you were picked to play for Ireland, so that was a natural thing for me. And obviously it's a case of, I'm just looking forward. The big thing for me is getting fully focused now on Belgium and Switzerland, the preparation for that, because they're two very exciting, tough games.
Okay, thank you guys. That ends the live section. We're moving to the print huddle. Do you want a question for the live?
no way getting you from Malahide to here.